Hey, this is Jonathan from the Body of Evidence. Today, I want to talk a little bit about integrative medicine in a sense, the idea that all of these major academic institutions are falling for and promoting alternative medical practices that have not been shown to work. And there's a funny place where I found the impact and the influence of integrative medicine, and it is in magazine format. So this is a magazine that is freely available to anybody, really. It's called Montréal en Santé, or Healthy Montreal. It's a bilingual publication. It's published 4 times a year. Why this publication? Well, here's why. Because here at the bottom you will notice the crest of the McGill University Health Centre. So this is our major English language academic health center in Montreal. It includes the Montreal General Hospital, Royal Victoria, the Children's Hospital, and they're all under the umbrella of McGill University, which has, of course, a very good international standing. It has a med school. And so they're publishing this publication on health and all sorts of interesting medical topics. And of course, the idea is that if you're just a Joe Schmo on the street or just a regular citizen, you will pick this up and you will see this name there and this logo, and you will think that everything that is inside here must be scientifically valid and must be, good medical advice and recommendations and things of that nature. But as it turns out, that is not the case. So I put these little black markers here wherever I saw some pseudoscience or some really bad science. It's mostly supplements and it's mostly ads, and I'll discuss this at the end. But first, let's just go through the things that I found to be a little disturbing. So it starts with a supplement, maca, which is packed with ginseng, and there we go, that's just the first one. And apparently this gives you a lot of energy and it allows you to run like this woman over there. It's anti-stress, okay. And if we keep going, we find a whole column on confidence boosters, which is essentially, they're talking about power poses. Now, power poses have been debunked, this idea that by taking expensive poses for a few minutes, that it will make you more confident and it will alter your risk-taking behavior. You've probably seen the TED Talk, which was seen by over 3 million people, I think. Turns out that the lead author on the study has recently released an article in which she basically disavows the research and talks about all the ways in which they fool themselves into thinking that there was a real effect when there wasn't. Now, this came out fairly recently, so I don't know if they knew about this when this went to press, but certainly there have been other studies trying to replicate those findings and they couldn't do it. And yet here it is, McGill, stamp of approval, talking about power poses. Then there's an ad for a dermatologist who claims that they can reverse and prevent the signs of aging. I don't know what kind of potion they're using, but I would like to know what it is. Then we have a full-page ad for probiotics. Now, Chris and I did a whole episode of our podcast on probiotics and what the evidence says they can be used for, and well, very little as it turns out. But here we have, for instance, Acidophilus Ultra, daily care to support intestinal and gastrointestinal health. There is no good rigorous evidence to show that taking probiotics on a daily basis will support your intestinal and gastrointestinal health, whatever that means. That's a structure function claim. It's the kind of claims that people who sell you supplements will make because there are vague claims that they can make without providing any sort of evidence for them. And then we reach the funniest one of them all, which is the ad for Cold FX. That's right, there's a full-page ad for Cold FX in 2016 in a McGill University Health Centre approved magazine. Now, Cold FX makes a claim that it helps to reduce the frequency, the severity, and the duration of cold and flu symptoms by boosting the immune system. It does no such thing, and we know this. And yet here it is again. And of course, there's the something that Chris had mentioned on the podcast, I think, this idea that they're better together. So Cold FX plus flu shot provides further reduction of cold and flu symptoms when taken with a flu shot. No, the only thing that helps there is the flu shot. Cold FX does absolutely nothing. And yet here it is, full-page ad people. This is ridiculous. So far these have been ads. This is different. This is an actual 2-page article on Wellness Revolution, the 5 principles of chiropractic medicine. That is right, they got a chiropractor to write 2 pages in this magazine about what chiropractic is, and this is a doozy. It talks about that the body has built-in healing force or intelligence that strives toward balance, that the spine and nervous system play a key role in health. There's an argument from antiquity and from authority by referring to Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, who knew that spinal adjustment was a vital part of healing. The author writes about that research links vertebral subluxations, and she's referring to chiropractic subluxations, which have never been shown to exist. So research links these subluxations with a litany of disorders from Parkinson's disease and infertility to headaches and carpal tunnel syndrome. Investigators reason that inhibited nervous system function due to vertebral subluxations may be the connection between the spine and a vast array of health challenges. After all, the nervous system helps regulate all body functions. This is pseudoscience. Chiropractic was created by a guy named D.D. Palmer who claimed that he cured a janitor of deafness by cracking his spine. And it is still being practiced today, even though there's no good evidence that it does anything. And it does involve some risks as well. But here it is in a McGill publication. Very disturbing. Then we have how to choose a good multivitamin. Odds are you don't need a multivitamin. Then there's an ad for another probiotic. This one is aimed at children. Your children are in daycare. To avoid the drawbacks associated with the spread of germs, Probaclac can help. Then there's an ad for a natural health product store. There's an ad for a product that contains collagen, glucosamine, chondroitin that supposedly can regenerate your articulations. That is a tall claim. And finally, we end with even more natural health products that can reduce chronic pain and inflammation, reduce post-operative swelling, improve circulation, effective pain relief from backache, from arthritis, increases energy, stamina, brain booster, improves mental clarity and alertness. Now, there's some good content there. There's stuff about diabetes, there's stuff about cancer, there are some good articles in there, but the problem is that these articles are interspersed with all of this nonsense. Now, I forget if it was Erica Johnson from the CBC, whom we interviewed recently, who was telling us this, or was doing her talk. But she did mention something interesting regarding Cold FX, which is that when CBC Marketplace did their investigation of Cold FX, the company knew about this. They knew when it was going to air, and they booked the ad time during that program. So as you were watching CBC Marketplace, where they were debunking the claims of Cold FX, you would actually see ads for Cold FX in between the segments. And they did the same thing for the online version. You would see the Cold FX spot before you could access the episode. And the reasoning of the CBC is that they keep these two things completely separate. So the ad department and the investigative journalism department do not speak to each other. There's a wall between them, and they're completely independent of each other. And we can argue as to whether or not this is a good thing. But certainly in a publication like this, the same argument could be made that, well, advertising is separate from the content, and here we go. Well, first of all, that chiropractic article was not an ad. This was content. And second of all, this is a magazine that has the imprint of the McGill University Health Centre, and you're putting these ads about these nonsensical supplements that don't do anything and are just a waste of money and can actually be dangerous because there are no good regulations on their manufacturing, and we know that these products are often adulterated, and sometimes they don't even contain the active ingredient that is claimed on the bottle. And an ordinary person will look at this and think, this came out of McGill. This has the McGill stamp of approval, and if it's in there, it must be true. And that's why we got to be careful and we got to be skeptical, because some people are asleep at the switch.